They do. They have dude, and Stryper. Don't get me wrong. They never quit. They put out an album like every year for the last 10 years. Nobody's heard of them because they don't have anybody pushing them. They don't have that background where people are pushing them like they did in the 80s. My biggest fight I've been having with people is, Crew, Def Leppard, and Poison. We're going to go out on a leg and say Poison opens the concert, right?
Yeah.
Who headlines?
Well, wouldn't it be Crew?
Def Leppard's a bigger act. Nowadays, Def Leppard is a bigger act than Motley Crue.
I just don't think that Crew would let that happen.
I don't either. But how could you possibly not think it's a joke and let Def Leppard be the middle band?
Good point.
They're huge. Before they started this, they just got finished touring with Poison on a stadium and arena tour, sold out.
Damn.
This isn't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? The only thing different is Crew wants a part of it now. So now you're going to be why? Why all of a second are you the headlining act with a second-rate band?
Oh, God. If there's any Crew fans out there, they're probably going to hit up the chat room here soon. They're going to fuck you up.
Hit up the chat room, dude. Nick will tell you. Nick, who are you named after?
I'm named after Nikki Sixx, the bass player for Motley Crue. So
I'm the biggest fucking Crew head of them all. Vince is done, dude. Vince has been. I've seen Crew on the last 3 tours they've come through. He's been done.
It's unfortunate too because there was a time that Vince Neil was one of the best, glam rock singers out there. He had a good voice, and
well, he did somewhat. Going back to the movie The Dirt, where they talk in that movie, and it's widely known is whenever they saw Vince singing, they're like, he doesn't really fit our sound. He doesn't sound that great. Mick said, I don't care what he sounds like. Look what he's doing to those girls.
Exactly.
All the girls wanted him. He was a looks thing only.
And he just now he's older. The voice is not as good as it used to be. The body most definitely isn't. So it's just
he doesn't sound as good. He looks like the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man rolling across the stage. No, dude.
But moving on, fucking from the Stay Puft Marshmallow Crew, Motley Marshmallow Crew. So
there you go.
Moving on now to the next bit of news.
Their original mascot, they had a mascot they used to draw. It's called Alistair Fiend.
Yep. Yeah.
They now call it Alistair Food.
Ooh, Jesus.
Meal.
That hurt me. So Triple H is to be on the next edition of the WWE Backstage via a satellite call. CM Punk was asked if he'd be appearing, as a lot of fans got excited about the possible meeting between the two. And WWE Backstage's Twitter responded with just, he will not be. And so I wrote down in my notes, is it just the gossip girl in me, or am I feeling some tension still? I mean...
Is there any doubt, dude? I mean, again, nobody's dummy. I don't watch WWE, and I know Seth Rollins talking shit about CM Punk.
Yeah.
They're trying to set something up.
Oh, they are. They are trying to set something up. But specifically with Triple H, Trips and CM Punk have a history. And one of the last real big news things that came out of WWE when CM Punk was there the first time, in 2013 when he left, one of his big quarrels, and this wasn't the only thing, this is just one of them that he, made sure to let everybody know, is that Trips was getting set up to run a program with CM Punk into WrestleMania, and they would be, I think, in the main event. And CM Punk, I think he was upset, not necessarily because he's going to be in the main event, because that's a big honor, main event of WrestleMania, yada, yada, yada. But the fact that he was having to go against Triple H again after they had had a series of matches already, and they were talking about it, and CM Punk made it abundantly clear, and I think this is the way he said it, was, Paul, I don't need you, you need me. And, like, he never had a lot of respect, I think, for Trips, and Trips, obviously, being the boss's son-in-law, had a little more power. You fuck with the boss.
Is it not having respect for Trip, or is it, hey, we've beaten this horse into the ground. Hey, this dead horse we're still trying to beat. Let's move on.
And I know you're right. I agree. But you still have to have respect for a motherfucker. I mean, don't get me wrong. Triple H has made his mistakes as far as people are concerned. We don't even need to go into that fucking rabbit hole, but...
And again, I could see that turning into some great shit. Did CM Punk ever had a crew he hung out with?
Well, yeah, he actually had the Straight Edge Society, which was...
Are any of them still involved in wrestling?
You remember Luke Gallows? Because he was one of them. And then...
They're still WWE.
Yeah, Luke Gallows, he left and went to Japan, but he came back. He's Luke Gallows again, and he's
Okay, Dream Book match. You have him come out to fight Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, before anybody forgets, he was the Shield.
Yep.
Brought to you by Triple H. Triple H comes out, interferes in the match. Luke Gallows comes out and rectifies it.
Well, see, also...
I could see that power angle going all fucking year long.
What's even better about that whole Shield thing that you bring up? CM Punk was the inventor of the Shield. It was supposed to be Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose,
yeah, that's right.
And
I do remember that.
Yeah, and Chris Ono. So there's a lot of stuff they could build with that. We fantasy booked this already a couple of times, and now just thinking about that, I mean, Seth Rollins could say, hey, I know you were the ones who were talking about coming up with the Shield, and putting a group together, and you wanted somebody else to lead it instead of me, and all this, and there's a lot of...
Yeah, they found... So I could see Seth, they wanted you to start it, but then they found somebody better.
Yeah. So there's a lot of...
I just go all day long, dude, and I'm not a professional booker, but if WWE wants to pay me, please contact us.
I take my paychecks in the mail, if you want to just DM me on the tweeters. But yeah, so it does feel like there's some heat there still between Trips and CM Punk, and obviously it has stuff to stem from far back in 2013, and I just wonder if it's continuing, if there's always going to be some heat there between the two of them.
It would be cool to see.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to see him in the ring with Trips or Seth now after all these years. Speaking of after a lot of years, Phantom of the Opera Cup. Well, it's not called Phantom. It was just a little tagline. Held annually for nearly 50 years at various turn-of-the-century opera house locations from New York City to Boston, the Professional Wrestling Opera House Cup was a grueling multi-day tournament. The best of the day competed in the tournament and would often be an entree to more success, including the World Heavyweight Championship of the day. For years, the cup has sat in the attic of the Hart Mansion in Calgary until the tragic passing of the last cup recipient, Stu Hart, the 1948 winner. Davy Boy Smith Jr. inherited the Opera House Trophy Cup upon the passing of his grandfather, inspired by the legends.
Owen fell all over it.
What is it?
I heard Owen fell all over it.
You're a terrible fucking person, just to let you know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Inspired by the legends whose names are immortalized in plaques on the sides of the cup, Smith has donated the cup to Major League Wrestling to reignite the spirit of the greats who preceded today and tomorrow's greats. After a 71-year hiatus, the Opera Cup returns December 5th as MLW hosts the 2019 Opera Cup Tournament at Melrose Ballroom in New York City. The event will be on Fusion TV taping for BN Sports. So, interesting. Have you ever heard of the Opera Cup before?
No.
Okay.
I can't ever recall hearing.
Well, I found a little bit of research, but it's exactly what we're talking. It was just it was almost like the King of the Ring tournament now, from way back. Guys like Stu Hart, guys like Lou Thez, Dick Beyer, big wrestling names from the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s did the Opera Cup. So I think that's pretty cool to see it coming back. I like that kind of stuff, so I'm definitely going to check that out at MLW. MLW is pretty good, man. You should check them out on YouTube free.
Yeah, I keep hearing again. I mean, again, another one of the podcasts that we listen to. He used to announce for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, I mean, aside from the, of course, political, dramatic bullshit you get from wrestlers, he said it was a good company. But he's like, some of the backstage shit was questionable. They're like, oh my God.
Fucking Court Bauer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking never mention his name ever fucking again,
Yeah. Oh, you heard that same one.
It was like, what the fuck kind of problem does he have with that guy, man?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
You will never mention his name on this broadcast ever again. And Tony's like, the fuck? Did he touch you inappropriately as a child? What the fuck happened?
I guess so.
So this is a big piece of news that it's kind of cool that you're here because I was actually going to ask you about this. It's a longer article, I think, but bear with me. We'll go through it, and I definitely want your opinion on it.
Let me pack a meth ball over here.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and get your meth ball ready. You're going to need it. With AEW becoming a new entity, the memories they make are extremely important. Since forming the company, Cody and Brandy Rhodes have made it a mission for it to be unique in its own way, whether intentional or not. Speaking on the fan morning show with Jeff and Big Joe, the Rhodes discussed the planning that goes within a new promotion. While there are clear challenges, adapting is key in order to make everything work. The fact that it is live and that anything can happen, and you have to be ready and just and adjust on the fly and just adapt. Brandy Stabic, great example of that being the last pay-per-view. Watching my husband fall on his face on a steel cage, I wasn't sure what was happening after that because it is live. It still was just fantastic for me. It was the moment of the evening. You never know what is going to happen. So it is just exciting for us as for fans. You're literally getting something different every single night. Let's see. Hold on. I want to skip over because I think some of this is bullshit here. Let's see. When thinking about the future, Cody and Brandon don't want to be complacent. Here we go. We are long form and we work backwards, Cody continued. We are going to do 4 major pay-per-views a year. All Out, Double or Nothing, Full Gear, and one unnamed we'll probably announce within the next 2 weeks. That is how wrestling used to be. The golden age of wrestling in the 1980s and even the late 70s, you look back at the finale and you worked backwards. We never want to be week to week. We never want to be week to week. That is almost arrogant if you think you can do this week to week, especially with young kids that we are responsible for now, like your Luchasauruses, Rios, Britt Bakers, etc., etc. We are responsible to them now. We want to do it in long form and disciplined without going hot shot or week to week. So I don't know if this means that they're only doing 4 a year, but a lot of the people on Twitter seem to think so, and so we're going to go and think about that for a minute. What do you think about them doing 4 pay-per-views a year? Just 4 straight pay-per-views all year?
I think that's a brilliant idea.
See, that's what I said. That's what I said, dude. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
You can quote, Bischoff in podcast saying the biggest mistake, or one of the biggest mistakes he ever made, was trying to produce a pay-per-view every other fucking week. You know what I'm saying? Or every month. It gets too much. You're oversaturating your own fans with too much shit throughout the year. You give them 4 throughout the year, that's every 3 months. Gives them something to build up to, something to look forward to, keeps the fans interested, And
I mean,
that's a brilliant.
Yeah, it gives you more than enough time to build a story for the next pay-per-view. Yeah. You've got 3 whole months, 90 days to put together an insanely good story to build that main event. of that pay-per-view. Right. And then on top of that, you're giving, because I know with the network now it's not so hard, but they don't have a streaming service. So we're looking at them almost as if we look at WWF 10, 15 years ago, and they were still running 12 pay-per-views a year. So, it gives the consumer enough time to build up the